rocking with guys that you've been rocking with, most of your life. I mean, it's a marriage.
Right.
It's family, and sometimes we all agree and we're all on the same page, and sometimes we're not.
Right.
What secrets are hiding behind the success of New Edition? Did you know the members faced big struggles even at the height of their fame? What shocking truths about their friendships, money problems, and personal lives surprised fans? How did these secrets shape the group's journey in the music world? Let's dive into the untold stories of New Edition that left fans speechless. New Edition kicked off in Boston's Roxbury neighborhood, where Bobby Brown and his childhood friends, Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, Ronnie DeVoe, and Ralph Tresvant, dreamed of being the next big thing in music. Inspired by the Jackson 5, they wanted to bring something fresh to the scene and named themselves New Edition. Their big break came in 1982 when they performed at a local talent show. And guess who was in the audience? Maurice Starr, a singer-producer who saw their potential and signed them to his label, Streetwise Records. The result? Their debut hit, Candy Girl, dropped in '83 and shot them straight to the top, putting them on the map. With their smooth dance moves, catchy hooks, and polished looks, New Edition quickly became a fan favorite and ruled the music scene in the '80s. When New Edition wrapped up their first big tour, you'd think they'd be swimming in cash, right? Nope. The boys went home and got checks for, wait for it, $1.87 each. Yeah, not even enough for a decent meal. The excuse? Apparently the tour expenses sucked up all the money. The group wasn't having it. Feeling totally ripped off, they parted ways with Maurice Starr in 1984. Maurice didn't waste any time, though. He turned around and created another boy band, New Kids on the Block. The twist? It was basically a New Edition reboot, but with white teens. Meanwhile, New Edition lawyered up, took their complaints to court, and got themselves out of that messy contract. With Starr out of the picture, they signed a fresh deal with MCA Records, and things started looking up. The boys got a new management squad, Stephen McCatt, Rick Smith, and Bill Dern, and started gaining major buzz. They weren't just hitting the R&B scene anymore, they were breaking into pop music too, bringing in a way bigger audience. MCA dropped their second album through a production company called Jump and Shoot. It was a smash. The project went double platinum and gave us two absolute classics, Cool It Now and Mr. Telephone Man. But just when things seemed golden, another roadblock popped up. Turns out the group wasn't actually signed directly with MCA. They were tied to Jump and Shoot, which meant all the big decisions were out of their hands. To break free, they each had to borrow $100,000 from MCA. A bold move, but totally necessary. Once they cut ties with Jump and Shoot, they signed straight with MCA and could finally call the shots. Of course, now they had a mountain of debt, so they kept grinding. In 1985, they dropped their third album, All for Love. It didn't blow up like the last one, but it still sold 1 million copies and gave us some gems like Count Me Out and With You All the Way. Bobby had enough. Gore bored me. Bobby Brown dipped out of New Edition. Things had already hit the fan. He was over the group's squeaky clean image and wanted to spice things up with his own bold, grown-up flavor. Spoiler, that didn't sit well with the rest of the crew. The real drama started when Bobby went rogue. According to the New Edition story on BET, he began sneaking in moves that were way too spicy for their family-friendly rep. He skipped shows, smoked weed, and even chucked a mic at Michael Bivins during a performance. Yup, it was chaos. Bobby later explained, "I was over the whole boy next door thing. I wanted to level up, both as an artist and as a man." But it wasn't just Bobby who felt the tension. The rest of the group was over it too. Ralph Tresvant spilled that Bobby stopped showing up to major gigs like Soul Train and Solid Gold. Those were huge moments for the group. And Bobby, he just didn't seem to care. Ralph put it simply. He started doing Bobby Brown stuff. Bobby, of course, had his own take. He felt trapped in the group's mold. "I felt like they didn't want me to do anything," he said in an interview. Bottom line, Bobby and New Edition weren't seeing eye to eye anymore, and it was only a matter of time before they went their separate ways. Bobby decided it was time to do his own thing and stepped away from New Edition to launch his solo career. Sure, losing Bobby was a big deal, but the group kept it moving. At the time, they were still promoting their album All for Love as a foursome. Even though they were dealing with money drama and clashing behind the scenes, they managed to hold it together and stay on top. One cool moment from this era, they showed up on the iconic TV show Knight Rider. In the episode Night Song, they performed their track Count Me Out. On top of that, they recorded a dreamy cover of Earth Angel for the Karate Kid Part 2 soundtrack. The song did well on the charts and even sparked an idea. Why not drop an entire album of throwback doo-wop hits? That's how Under the Blue Moon happened, and it became another standout project for them. Still, things felt a little shaky for New Edition. After Bobby left, rumors started swirling that Ralph Tresvant might be thinking about going solo too. To prep for what could have been another major shakeup, the group brought in Johnny Gill, a singer from DC, and the only non-Bostonian in the lineup. But plot twist, Ralph stuck around, so now they were rolling 6 deep instead of 5. Then came Heartbreak, the album that flipped their entire sound. This wasn't the sweet boy next door stuff anymore. This was grown-up, real, emotional music. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis stepped in as producers, and the magic happened. The album was a massive win, giving us classics like If It Isn't Love, Can You Stand the Rain, and N.E. Heartbreak. Fans were obsessed, and the album went double platinum. The cherry on top, a legendary tour that brought the house down. New Edition headlined, with Bobby, now keying it as a solo artist, and Al B. Sure, opening the shows. The venues were packed, the energy was electric.
And when you rocking with guys that you've been rocking with, most of your life, I mean, it's a marriage.
Right.
It's family, and sometimes we all agree and we're all on the same page, and sometimes we're not.
Right.
New Edition's big reunion on the Home Again tour was supposed to be epic, but let's just say things went from nostalgic to chaotic real quick. After nearly a decade apart, fans were hyped to see them back together, but behind the scenes, it was a hot mess. Right out of the gate, old beefs resurfaced. These guys had history, and it didn't take long for the drama to bubble up. The real chaos hit during a show in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Bobby Brown was doing his solo set and decided to keep the spotlight longer than scheduled. Michael Bivins and Ronnie DeVoe weren't having it, so DeVoe stormed the stage to pull Bobby off. That's when it all went sideways. Bobby dropped the mic, literally, and the two started throwing punches. Security tried to step in, but it only escalated. Things got so out of control that gunshots were fired, and the whole concert was shut down. Yep, the night ended with Bobby and Bivins bailing on the tour. That left Ronnie, Ricky Bell, Johnny Gill, and Ralph Tresvant to carry on as a foursome. Later, Bobby admitted he'd been drinking during the tour, which didn't help the situation. But honestly, the damage was already done. The drama exposed just how messy their relationships had become, and the tour ended up tearing them apart instead of bringing them closer. What was supposed to be a comeback turned into a train wreck. The group went on a major break, and fans were left wondering if they'd ever see New Edition together again. Spoiler, it took years before they finally made their way back.
In one sense, it doesn't have to do with the ownership of the name, but it does have to do with differences. The reason why all 6 of us are not sitting here, right?
Things got pretty messy after their biopic The New Edition story blew up. Johnny Gill and Ralph Tresvant discovered that no one had trademarked the group's name. So they decided to take matters into their own hands and trademark it. But of course, this didn't sit well with the rest of the guys: Ricky Bell, Mike Bivins, Bobby Brown, and Ronnie DeVoe. They were not happy about being left out of the decision. Cue the drama. The group split into 2 factions. Johnny and Ralph did their own thing, while the other 4 formed a group called RBBM. Unfortunately, neither group really took off, and fans were seriously missing the classic New Edition crew. After years of tension, though, they finally sat down, hashed it out, and got everything straight. Mike Bivins posted on Instagram that they all signed paperwork to become equal owners of the New Edition name. Yup, they're all in this together now. Fans are hyped to see them back as a full squad, and who knows, new music might be on the way. The crew also had some fun with other reality projects. They joined Are You the Girl to help judge with TLC's T-Boz and Chili, and later hit the stage with Bobby Brown for a BET special. That was the moment Bobby made it official that he was back in the group. In 2006, they filmed a concert in South Carolina, and Bobby was back with them. Then, in 2008, New Edition teamed up with New Kids on the Block for a collab on Full Service. In 2011, New Edition reunited for their 30th anniversary at the Essence Music Festival. They performed, toured, and even got some love at the Soul Train Awards with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Didn't let anything hold them back, even when Bobby had to step away for a bit because of the tragic passing of his ex, Whitney Houston. They even made their first trip to Africa, performing in Nigeria. After all the ups and downs, the group was ready for more. They signed with Irving Azoff and Geffen Records and set the stage for a comeback album. Fast forward to 2021, and they're back in action, working on new projects and launching the Culture Tour, which hit 30 cities. It was such a success that they kept the momentum going with the Legacy Tour in 2023. And in 2024, they're gearing up for a Las Vegas residency. Looks like New Edition is here to stay and definitely ready for their next chapter.